It's the first round of the NCAA Tournament here in Blacksburg, Virginia. My name is Brian Kearney, and alongside me is Kyle Marchak for this first game of this NCAA Tournament, as I said, as we are just ready to go here, and they will touch it, and the ref blows his whistle, and we are on our way. As we are just in midfield between both these teams, this first round of the NCAA Tournament, as we said, a rematch of the 2015 tournament back in the rematch of the second round in the 2015 NCAA Tournament.
Yeah, like you said, obviously some history between these teams. All time, the Buckeyes have that lead 3-1, but it's really that last matchup, right? In 2015, and like I said in our preview, Chugger's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Chugger, the head coach and long-tenured coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies, 16 years now, just a ton of experience between both coaches.
Absolutely, and we had a ball there go past the goal line, and now in movement for these Hokies on their attacking third, but that one's quickly going to get bumped out, and that's going to be a close call, maybe a throw-in or a cross.
It looks like they're going to have a corner here, and that's huge. If you want anyone on top of the corner right now, Emily Gray's a little undersized at forward, so they usually use her at these corner flags, and it's going to be a big boot right here. You see that winger stepping right near her. They can send it to her for a better angle across, but it looks like they're going straight for it.
As the cross comes in, the header, and it's blocked and pushed away, as that was an excellent chance there for the Hokies, but an excellent block for Bailey Kolininski for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and just like that, Hokies already getting a chance.
Yeah, Kayla Fisher just right on top of that. Bailey Kolininski, as you said, just a ton of experience with her. 19 games played, 19 games started, 27 goals allowed, but even better, 68 saves. The better of the two experienced goalies we have on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a battle of those two goalkeepers here, as the Hokies are just bouncing it back and forth in their defensive third. Aaliyah Skinner with those 5 clean sheets this season. But both of these goalkeepers very good, but this Hokie offense has really been the strong point for them this whole season. Really helped them do well in the ACC. Of course, they weren't able to make that ACC tournament. But nonetheless, that goal, the offense for them has really come into play, is already pushing into some movement here in their attacking third, right outside that 18-yard box, but quickly snuffed away by the Buckeyes defense, and going to be Kolininski with a throw.
This is what I love about Emily Gray's game. She steps all the way upfield as much as possible and always applies pressure. It's just so fantastic, and that's why she's one of the finest at what she does. She's so well conditioned and one of the best midfielders in the ACC.
Absolutely. Here in midfield, the Buckeyes trying to push it into their attacking third, but Hokies quickly going to bounce on it and kick it to Aaliyah Skinner, who's just going to kick it away, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Buckeyes.
And that's just good communication from the freshman Sydney Jones stepping into defense tonight. A lot of experience in her previous career, played at Cincinnati Development Academy. Anyone who has DA next to their club record name clearly has, with no pun intended, developed their game, levels. Communication is definitely a part of that. Just talking to Aaliyah Skinner right there to boot that ball upfield and get it out of there.
So as this will be a throw-in for those Buckeyes. Right there on the Hokies attacking third, that was Sydney Jones with the throw-in for the Buckeyes, but Hokies are going to pounce on this one, trying to clear it there right in their 18-yard box. They're going to kick it upfield, but still bouncing back and forth between both sides. Falling down was number 26 and Emily Palkowski for the Hokies. It's going to be a whistle blown, but actually it looks like she was tripped, so the whistle goes to the Hokies, and it's going to be Aaliyah Skinner coming out for the kick.
Yeah, and that's a part of Palkowski's game. One of those center defensive mids, kind of a winger really for this roster, and that's what she does. She gets on top of the ball, and she's chippy. She's not, the swiftest player on the pitch, but just keeps possession well and draws a lot of penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, Aaliyah Skinner, as the Hokies kicked it back to Aaliyah Skinner. A fall for the Hokies, and it will be a whistle, a push on Ohio State. And so for both these sides, we'll quickly run through the starting lineups as Hokies get ready to take this. Aaliyah Skinner, Emily Gray, Anu Warren, Nicole Kozlova, Tori Powell, as this ball is in the Hokies attacking third here, but quickly snuffed by this Ohio State Buckeyes. To finish that list, Allie Lewis, Lauren Gogol in for the typical Avery Tharrington, who is out serving a red card suspension. It's going to be Victoria Hogan, Avery Visage, Emily McCarter, and Emily Pelkowski, and of course Aaliyah Skinner is mentioned in goal for them. On the other side for the Buckeyes, it's bouncing back and forth here in midfield between both sides for each team. A push into their attacking third. A nice little breakaway opportunity right in the 18-yard box, right in front of the goalie. A shot, and it's off the post. An excellent opportunity there for Nicole Kozlova, and she just boots it off the side of the post. And that one bounces away. Excuse me, that was Tori Powell.
Whew, Tori Powell stepping right back onto the pitch, and she's ready to go, sending that one off the post. But how about the poise? They draw the corner kick either way, off the post right there. The goalie touched it, and, that's still a big play. You didn't finish, but you have another finishing opportunity right here.
Yeah, a chance here on the cross. The cross coming in right in front of the net and headed away by Ohio State. This one's going to bounce over to the near side of the pitch, but fighting back and forth here is Avery Visage with that Ohio State Buckeye, and it's going to go out. And that was her fighting with, so that looks to be Sydney Jones on this near side in the Hokies attacking third with the throw-in now for the Hokies. Right there, Tori Powell on the edge of the 18-yard box. Looking for a cross. She will pass it in, but it gets past. And it's going to be another shot off the goalkeeper. She's going to punch this one away. Early offense here for both of these sides, or excuse me, for the Hokies.
And it looks like there was some contact off the ball on that cross opportunity there before the ball reached the players. No call on the play. Ref wanted to play on, and looks like the Hokies nearly got a handle on it as they had to make a play in the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Hokies here at midfield. We'll run through the Buckeyes lineup real quick for you here. They're starting 11, Bailey Kolaninski in goal. It's going to be Kayla Fisher, Peyton McNarama, Tolani Barnett, Sydney Jones, Brittany Duncan, Izzy Rodriguez, Kaylin Foley, Kitty Jones Black, Emma Sears, and Caitlin Dudukovic. Here, Hokies in their attacking third, looking for a chance here, pushing into the 18-yard box. She's going to fall, and it will be a foul called for the Hokies. Just 5 meters outside that 18-yard box, and an excellent free kick opportunity here for the Hokies.
Oh, yeah. No, that's textbook stuff right there. You're about 25 out, and they just got the yellow card on that play. Getting a little too aggressive. I think it's evident the Buckeyes are ready to go here defensively. They're just a little too aggressive, as I said, and the Hokies, if any team in the ACC is better at soaking up cards, you're going to have to inform me of that, because I don't know any team as excellent at soaking up these fouls as the Hokies.
Yeah, absolutely, and an excellent opportunity here for Emily Gray, the senior and the leader for this Hokie team. Big part of this Hokie offense is she was recently just named the 2021 All-ACC second team, and an excellent opportunity here on this free kick.
Look for Powell on the back post run here.
Gray, an excellent opportunity. The shot comes in, and it's going to be punched away by Palkowski. But it lands back in front of the net. Excellent opportunity here for the Hokies, and an excellent block again for the Buckeyes goalkeeper, and she has just been all over the place.
But she could have gotten away with that, right? Obviously she had to make a tip save, top bins to her right on that initial free kick. But when the ball came back down, she didn't get a handle on it near the end line.
This is going to be a cross here, but the Hokies are actually going to elect to pass and kick it back up towards the top of the 18-yard box and try and set up a play. A cross is going to come in now, but quickly headed away for the Buckeyes back into midfield. Nobody there for the Buckeyes, so it's going to be Aaliyah Skinner all the way up at that circle, going to kick it into the near side. Emily Gray wide open on this near side. Cross, a chance in the 18-yard box. She's going to cross it in, and it's going to be blocked away by the Buckeyes, so the Hokies are going to have to reset. Still in their attacking third, Emily Gray working around some defenders. A cross comes in, but again, hit it away for the Buckeyes. Right there, Tori Powell, but she's going to let that one just bounce out for a throw-in. It's going to be Anu Vornin for the Hokies here with the throw-in. Going to come into the 18-yard box. Right there, Kozlova going to kick it to Powell. Powell's going to cross it in, but again, kicked away by the Buckeyes. Buckeyes having to deal with a lot of offense early on. It's been all Hokies. They've been very aggressive, but now trying to make their own advance happen here, but happy to just kick that one away, and the Hokies are going to reset. About 36 minutes remaining left in this first half.
And already so many opportunities for the Hokies.
A chance coming in here, across over the header, and it's going to be wide. Again, an excellent opportunity for Tori Powell, but she just misses that off the right side of her boot.
You know, you miss once, and it's unlucky. A great play by Bailey Kalinsky in that initial play, but right there, you really have a free shot. You know, you're stepping in, obviously, on the volley. It's tough to make that chip shot with, you know, the ball coming at you. There's going to be a lot of pressure on it, but still, you know, you get a couple opportunities. You have to have that finishing capability to just put that ball in the back of net right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of chances early on for these Hokies. Sloppy play for the Buckeyes, but Hokies unable to push anything across quite yet here. But you got to figure if they keep playing like this, eventually they're going to get something through. For those Buckeyes, they lost in that first round to Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. And Bailey Kolininski had 9 saves, but they actually lost that one. Here, Buckeyes pushing onto the Hokies attacking third, trying to make something happen here on the near side of the field. All the way towards that corner of the line between the goal line and the touch line here. Going to be a cross in right there. Lee Skinner, though, going to grab it. And the Hokies get away with some sloppy defense. It's going to be a goal kick.
And that's Aaliyah Skinner's game right there. You know, just field vision. She's not hesitant at all. I mean, you see her. She's kind of what we call a sweeper keeper. Gets all the way upfield near that mid-circle. And on that previous play, booted it right upfield to Emily Gray, who, you know, does a fantastic job of finding space down that far touch line.
Yeah, absolutely. And now running down with that Nicole Kozlova with that through ball. Looking for a cross here. Right there, though, Buckeyes playing decent defense on this near side of the field. Kicks it through her legs. Kozlova in the box here. Chance right in front of the box. A nice block by Kolininski. Again, a shot. And it's just missed wide on that follow-up shot. And the Hokies had a great opportunity.
Chaos breaking out here in Blacksburg. Bailey Kalinsky showing out. That's a triple save right there. Off the deflection, made another save right in front of her. Those reaction saves are not easy to teach. That's something you can't teach in soccer, and that's just athleticism on display right there. Bailey Kalinsky pulling out a show here in Blacksburg.
Yeah, absolutely. These Hokies are being relentless, but those back-to-back saves, just sticking those arms out and were able to make those saves, just saved her team from going down early in this first round of this tournament.
But you have to take a positive away from it if you're a Hokie, right? How about Kozlova stepping out of international duties for Team Ukraine, a young, talented player for Team Ukraine, stepping back after a 3-game hiatus and pulling out some stuff already. I mean, obviously when you're playing international overseas, your game's going to take a step up, and she's coming back and showing off exactly what she learned over in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. Already showing off her skills here. She's one of those big 3 for this Hokies offense. Tori Powell and Emily Gray and Nicole Kozlova, the big names here. Hokies trying to push it into the 18-yard box, but headed away by the Buckeyes. Still in front of that 18-yard box. Across in, Emily Gray with the shot, and it's in the back of the net for a goal for Emily Gray. And it's up 1-0 for these Hokies.
And that's just that pinball you needed, right? Pass it around until you find the open man, and that's Emily Gray's game right there, finding the open space and pinned it to the back of the net.
Absolutely, and it felt inevitable. It just been Hokies, just putting shot after shot after shot, and eventually those chances were going to add up, and Emily Gray with a quick little punch into that bottom left-hand corner, and with 33 minutes remaining in this first half, Hokies lead 1-0.
And that's just textbook stuff, like I said. Again, finding the open man, that's Emily Gray's game. And how about the environment here? Women's soccer, not necessarily a staple here in Blacksburg, but I think the town knows tonight there's a big game going on here in Blacksburg.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not often in these big NCAA tournament games that you get to play them at home. Usually in these tournaments, they're played at neutral locations, so big advantage here for the Hokies to be able to host this first round game and give themselves a little bit of a boost. And these Hokies fans, known for their football, known for their basketball fandom, but as you said, they have come out to show their support for this Hokies women's team. Buckeyes here, though, look a little bit energized, trying to make something happen, pushing it into their attacking third, but right there, Hokies are going to pounce on it. Leah Skinner's going to dive and fall on that one, and the Hokies going to reset here.
Aaliyah Skinner always alive. This defense is some of the finest in the ACC.
Absolutely. That ball now pushed up to that far side of the field. Hokies trying to get it through midfield. But Buckeyes land on it there in the middle of the field. Talani Barnett on that far side. Back and forth between these Buckeyes. Kicking it between these Hokies. Tori Powell among others up there. Anu Voronin. Mixing it up on that far touchline right by those benches. Gonna get a quick throw in here for the Hokies. But again, off another Buckeye player, and the Hokies just keep pushing it into their attacking third. So a decent opportunity here on that far side of the field near McComas Gym. Throw-in's going to come in, and right there, Ohio State. Bouncing back and forth here, though. Trying to look for some space, these Hokies, but quickly intercepted by Ohio State. A sloppy pass there leads to Tori Powell with it in the middle of the field. She's going to pass it into the box. Tori Powell was right there with it in the box, but that one tried to take a shot as that went across the line, that far end line.
Yeah, that was Emily McCarter on that ball, kind of slicing into the right side of the box. You know, kind of a center attack mid forward, mainly midfield tonight. It looks like she's playing just center mid. And one of those girls that is not afraid to get upfield, clearly. I mean, up on the 18 right there, just trying to find the cross or at least feeding that ball to a far post to try and get that secondary pass opportunity.
Yeah, and we're seeing this again here. The Buckeyes having a lot of issues trying to clear it out of their defensive third. Just Hokies won't let them do it. As again, that was Sydney Jones. And then intercepted again by the Hokies. Emily Gray now pushing it on that far side of the field. Into the box already, and a shot bounces off of that looked to be Nicole Kozlova into Kolininski there. She made a nice save and a quick little chance there for the Hokies.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, out of thin air, right? Trying to get that volley on kind of a tough angled cross. I mean, if I'm Emily Gray right there, she's booting it from kind of that top corner of the left side of the 18. Why not take your space? Bring it down to the end line and then back out so you get the right angle. Instead, you're feeding it from an awkward angle to one of your forwards. It's just a tough play to make.
Here we go again with the Hokies pushing it up. Tori Powell, and then that was Emily McCarter pushing it up to Emily Gray. Gray with it at the top of that 18-yard box, cleared away by Ohio State, but intercepted again for the Hokies, pushing it into the box. It crossed into Kozlova. Kozlova with the shot, but is blocked away by Kolininski again. Still with it in their attacking third here. Ohio State trying to clear it away, still unable to. This has been their issue all night. Hokies have been in basically right around the box the entire night here, about 30 minutes now, as that was a pretty good opportunity there for the Hokies.
But that's just another reaction save right there. Again, you can't teach that type of athleticism, and Bailey Kolinsky is legitimately having one of the games of her life right now.
And I think we got to talk about it. There are 10 shots on goal already for the Hokies. Already, we're only 15 minutes into this first half. It's been an incredible offensive show here for these Hokies. But the Buckeyes trying to push it back now across the midfield with it. They got 2 on about 5 here, and the Hokies are going to quickly intercept that one and push it back. What have you seen here so far at the beginning of this game? There's a cross, a through ball coming in, but quickly headed away for Ohio State. Seeing a lot of Emily McCarter and Tori Powell here trying to mix it up. Emily Gray going to get it in midfield. Pushing it towards their attacking third again. Another through ball, but no one was there. Too hard by Emily Gray. And back to Kolininski. So, yeah, what have you seen here so far between these Hokies and the Buckeyes?
Well, there's just evident holes in the Buckeyes game. I mean, that defensive line is not having the type of game that their goalie is. You have to be in unison, right? And I think it comes down to communication. You see the Hokies communicating. They're much more poised in the balls. They have another opportunity in the attacking third.
The freshman, Emma Palkowski, pushing it into the box. She's in the 18-yard box. The cross comes in, and it misses Tori Powell right there. She tried to go for that bicycle kick, and it went by her. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Buckeyes.
My goodness, Tori Powell rising up again. This is what the team is so efficient at for the Hokies, right? It's just getting the ball upfield. And another crossing opportunity, it's just about the finishing capability. When you put it a little too high, it's tough to get those volleys out of thin air.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a mix of everybody. Emma Palkowski getting in there, Tori Powell, Nicole Kozlova, Emily Gray. Everyone's just pushing through this Buckeye defense here as they're struggling in that backfield. Trying to push it through again down on that near side for the Buckeyes. Right at that midfield line. Pass between Sydney Jones and Emma Sears here. Going to kick it back up to that far side of the field now. Pushing it into their attacking third. Trying to make something happen. A cross comes in, and it's going to... was trying to get cleared away, but the kick missed, but they are eventually now going to get it out. Emily McCarter trying to push it away to her teammate, and Nicole Kozlova. Buckeyes with it right here in their attacking third. That was Kitty Jones-Black for the Buckeyes. They're going to pass it back now to Caitlin Foye. Foley, excuse me. Back and forth between the two defenders left on the Buckeyes half of the field. On this near side, Hokies not looking too worried here on this push. They are going to intercept it now, but again, the Buckeyes are going to grab it right back. The Hokies now going to grab it back again, having some bouncing back and forth here in the midfield between both these teams.
And again, it's the poise in the ball. I mean, Emily Gray and company have just been so calm on top of the ball. I mean, the Buckeyes feel the pressure. The Hokies look just at home here in Blacksburg.
Yeah, absolutely. Up on that far side of the field now. Chance for Tori Powell's going to try and pass it up again, but intercepted by the Buckeyes. Hokies get it back here. A cross is going to come into the box, but cleared away for the Buckeyes. Still in their attacking third.
Still a good opportunity. I mean, the Hokies couldn't capitalize, but they got bodies in the box. That's the number one thing in college soccer that you miss, is getting bodies all the way upfield in the 18. You have girls who can get upfield with the ball, but it's the people who do the work off the ball that make it happen.
As there was a foul called, so going to reset here. About 26 minutes remaining. 10 shots still for the Hokies to the Buckeyes, none. 1-0 here early on in Thompson Field on this Friday evening. First round of the NCAA Tournament, as we mentioned. Hokies just bouncing back and forth here, trying to find a little bit of space. Kicking back between Anu Voronin and Lauren Gogol. Going to cross come in here, or through ball, for the Buckeyes, but that was going to go all the way to the far side of the field, and nobody there, so Hokies grabbing it. Bouncing back and forth here between Emily McCarter and Avery Visage up on that far side of the field. Buckeyes going to take it back, though. Pushing it into their attacking thirds here. Right by that Hokie bench. They're going to try and cross it into the box, but again, bounced away. And it's going to be a cross here corner kick for the Buckeyes.
And this is the only opportunity they've had so far. This could quite possibly be the only shot on goal they get. They need to capitalize. And again, it comes down to those back post runs. Who's going to be the sneaker? Who's going to, run into that back of the six and make the play right on top of the goalie? You have to challenge the goalkeeper. It's about marking your man, too, if you're on defense for the Hokies. Emily Gray even getting all the way up there. They have to mark a man on this play.
Jones Black here with the cross. Cross coming in. The header, and it's going to be blocked by Leah Skinners. That one was poked away. And again, we're going to get another cross here, or another corner kick for the Buckeyes, as that was a good header, but a good, excellent diving save there for Leah Skinner.
Yeah, that's just a brilliant save from Skinner. Just diving to a right. Again, another reactionary save. And again, you see Sydney Jones getting all the way up on Skinner here.
The cross is going to come in here a little bit lower this time. Still in the box, going to be a shot in. It's wide. Up and away there for the Buckeyes. First real opportunity. And they're going to have to reset, though, and try and get another chance.
Again, that opportunity is huge, though. The Buckeyes finally got it upfield, and really just with dumb luck, a deflection out of bounds gave them an opportunity on the corner, and they got a couple shots on net practically right there. So that's huge. You got to take it with much more than a grain of salt if you're the Buckeyes right now, because they are really falling behind quickly here.
Yeah, absolutely, as it will be a goal kick for Aaliyah Skinner. So first shot there for the Buckeyes. Already 7 saves on the other side for Bailey Kolonitsky, and you really got to hand it to her. These Buckeyes would not be in the place they are in, only down by 1 if she had not been having the game she's had. So you got to tip your cap to her, and I'm sure she's upset with that defense for these Buckeyes. Midfield for them does seem to be working together a little bit more here, as the Hokies having a little bit of trouble poking it through on that far side of the field, right on that touch line, and it is going to stay right there. Both these teams bouncing it back and forth in midfield here, trying to find a little bit of space. As there's a hard collision right there at midfield, but both girls get up, so everyone is good there on that header attempt. Tori Powell with it on the Hokies attacking third now, pushing it into midfield. Emily Gray with it in midfield, but quickly stolen away for Ohio State, so they're going to reset. Try and poke it back out. We saw this issue. This was their issue at the beginning of this game. They get it into their defensive third and then couldn't get it back out. So we'll see how they handle this here. So it's pushed into midfield. 2 Buckeyes. Up on that far side is going to be a through ball that nobody there. So the Hokies are going to kick that one up onto that far side of the field here still.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the weakness in Buckeyes' game is the Hokies are still trekking their way slowly upfield. It's just they leave holes. Like in that play right there, they boot it to midfield, and Palkowski's wide open for the Hokies. You have to mark a man in midfield. I mean, you have the size advantage if you're the Buckeyes. Why don't you mark your man?
As the defense, again, for Ohio State has to deal with this one, but they're going to take this and intercept it, so they're just going to pass it back and forth here. 4 Hokie players pushing up, trying to apply some pressures. They're going to kick it back to Bailey Kolininski. He's going to push it to that near side of the field. Is this one going to be taken by Anu Vornin for the Hokies? Emily Gray in the mix of it here right on the midline. Back to Sears, pushing it up. Sears moving into that Buckeye attacking third here. None of these attacks really feel too energized for the Buckeyes. It seems to be just one or two girls pushing it up, and never feels like they have a whole lot of energy on these attempts.
No, you're absolutely right, Brian. I mean, they're just not a cohesive unit up front right now.
As pushing it in now, Emily McCarter's going to be a free chance up there for Nicole Kozlova right in the box. Just her and the goalie, and she tried to get by her, but she couldn't as that last touch went right into Kolininski.
Yeah, that's just not poising the ball right there. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bailey Kolinsky's got a decent amount of size for a keeper and definitely one of the more athletic reactionary keepers in the Big Ten, but you still have to be able to make that play, right? You know, one-on-ones are advantageous if you're an offensive player. You got to make a big touch and get by her. Don't give her enough space.
Absolutely. Here, still in there attacking third for the Hokies, but the Buckeyes have the ball. That was an excellent opportunity. We have seen that a couple times, like you said, for this Hokie team. They could be in a lot better position. They've had at least 2 one-on-ones with the goalkeeper, and have both put them away and have not put them away. They've bounced them off the post in the case of Tori Powell, and then here on that just missed last touch for Nicole Kozlova. It will be a throw-in. Vornin going to toss it into Tori Powell, but quickly intercepted. Going to try again to get out of here, Ohio State. Having a little bit of trouble. Still can't quite get it through the pressure by the Hokies. Are going to succeed in getting it back. Pushing it up to Tori Powell again right in their attacking third. Tori Powell's going to get tripped up, and it's going to be a foul called on Virginia Tech. So they're going to luck out here. Ohio State are going to be able to reset with about 20 minutes left, but still not seeing a whole lot of fight out of them.
Yeah, that's a good job by the Hawaiian right there, Kitty Jones-Black, just kind of fighting for it. And, again, the more contact you draw, the more penalties you'll draw. And right there, just getting a little bit of action right there, back and forth. And I've studied her game, and that's really the Hawaiian style of soccer right there, just being chippy with it, especially on defense.
This is going to be a throw-in here for the Buckeyes, as that was Caitlin Foley who had a chance there, and it went out off the Hokie player. So a throw-in here. Decent opportunity in the box here, but 3 Virginia Tech players are going to be right there, so they're going to take this one back and try and clear it out. But right there was Jones, bouncing back and forth between Jones and Barnett. Back to Sears. Sears pushing it up on that near side of the field, trying to look for a cross. Nice pressure by the Hokies is going to force the ball out, and it's actually going to be a goal kick. So that was excellent play there from Anu Vornin to keep that ball out without giving a chance for the Buckeyes to cross it in.
Yeah, Alina Vornin just looking so sharp on that. You know, the Finnish player, again, you know, the European style of soccer too, just to make comparisons. Very chippy on the ball and definitely get really, you know, kind of cheeky, if you will, on top of the ball too. And she just kind of flicked that ball right off her foot on the way out. So it's a nice play from her.
As this one comes into midfield. And this one here, Ohio State is going to, as that one lands and Ohio State's able to get this on this near side of the field still. They're going to kick it back to their 2 defenders in the backfield, and Barnett and Rodriguez there for them. Still on that, as they moved it up to that far side of the field, but still can't quite get it through this Virginia Tech midfield.
Yeah, they're just struggling to penetrate it. I think, you know, the VT midfield is just more cohesive. It's more like a Hokie stone brick wall, if you will, because, again, cohesive unit, and they mark their man. You know, they're staying on top of the team. They have their marked members, and they're really not as unpoisoned the ball as Ohio State is so far.
Yeah, Virginia Tech definitely having a much more cohesive game, as you said. And it makes you think here, these Hokies definitely playing very, very well, but didn't even make that ACC tournament. Of course, this ACC conference in women's soccer known for being the best of those Power 5. These Hokies had to play those good teams all year long, and I think it's showing here with their team and their offense and just their overall game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. You look at the Buckeyes' record, 9-8-2. So that tells you, first of all, how large the NCAA tournament is, because that's a team barely above 500 making the tournament. But on top of that, they're 7th in the Big Ten. So they're slightly above 500, but they're 7th in the Big Ten. That tells you how good the Big Ten is. And then for comparison, 11-5-2. Easily making the NCAA tournament. Didn't even make their own conference tournament. 8th in the ACC, one spot out from the ACC tournament. That tells you just how competitive the ACC is of all Power 5 conferences.
Yeah, absolutely. Hokies here with the ball in midfield. About 16 minutes left here. Bounce it back and forth between both schools. They're definitely the midfield for both of these sides have kind of firmed up, but a nice cross chance here for the Hokies, pushing it into their attacking third. Emily Gray right on the top of that 18-yard box, going to try and pass it down to the near side of the field, but just missed her mark there as that one went out past the goal line for a for a goal kick here for the Buckeyes.
And again, Emily Gray is kind of a pass-first type of player, which is ironic considering she's the leader in goals for this roster, but that tells you just how skilled she is. And again, that's another play right there where she could have probably just took her space and tried to get a shot off instead. Maybe she doesn't have as big as a boot as she thinks or whatever it might be, but whatever it is, she's been pass first, which is a good mentality to have. But, some of those plays, it's really kind of killing the momentum. Forcing the ball too much, if you will.
Is here for the Buckeyes, trying to push it through this Hokie midfield. As we've talked about all game, as they will get it through a little bit here on this near side of the field. With the ball right now is Dudukovic trying to push it through right on the top of the 18-yard box now. Now on that far side of the field. The cross is going to come into the middle here. A header for both teams. It's just going to bounce it up into the air and bounce away. As getting a little bit more aggressive here are the Buckeyes, finding some holes in this Hokie midfield, but really still haven't put together too much of an attack yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting more competitive. Again, Ohio State just looking a little sharper on offense. And I think the biggest thing is, again, like you said, penetrating that midfield for the Hokies. They've really struggled with that so far. Again, the Hokies are looking so sharp in midfield, but the Buckeyes are just struggling to find those holes. They don't find the space to get those boots upfield. They're not even finding the open space downfield either. And, that's what Emily Gray is so good at for the Hokies. So in comparison, who's going to be your Emily Gray, per se? Not to make, a biased comparison, but you're struggling to find that guy downfield for the Buckeyes right now. And they're kind of stuffing themselves, if you will, putting pressure on themselves to get that ball upfield.
Yeah, and really the only person that we've seen throughout this season for the Buckeyes is Caitlin Dudukovic. And, she's a freshman only and has really led this team in goals, and she's second in points by one behind her senior counterpart in Kayla Fisher. So they definitely need someone like that. We really haven't heard much from Caitlin Dudukovic in this game. Really, that first cross was the first we've seen of her so far. So they're definitely going to need more of those impact players coming in. Both Kayla Fisher and Caitlin Dudukovic started this game, so definitely going to need them to get into the mix of this more. This was a long through ball in that went wide, so it's going to be a chance for the goalkeeper for the Buckeyes here, and Bailey Koloninski. Still 1-0 here in this first half. Just under 14 minutes remaining, as they're now on that far side of the field, but it's going to be a throw-in for them, for the Buckeyes, and it's 12 shots already for these Hokies. The first 15 minutes, they had 10 shots on goal, or just 10 shots in general, and now I've only had 2. So definitely seen a little bit of firmed up defense here for Ohio State. 2 shots for Ohio State.
Yeah, I think Caitlin Foley and Sydney Jones have looked a lot better in that defensive half. And as I say that, another opportunity for the Hokies.
So there was a chance there. A through ball was trying to get connected to Nicole Kozlova, as we saw Emily Gray sort of raise her hands up there in frustration. Maybe some miscommunication here going on between this Virginia Tech offense that seems to have been working together pretty well. Struggling a little bit to get anything really cohesive going.
It looked like it was actually Allie George on the other end of that pass right there, the through ball, just trying to make a play. But, again, too much mustard on it. And like I said, I think that's kind of one of the problems for the Hokies so far is they're a pass-first team. I mean, obviously, whatever they're doing is working. They're up 1-0 with 12 minutes to go here in the first half. But I think it really just kind of goes down to, what opportunity is the best. The Buckeyes, per se, are kind of being a little more high risk, trying to get the ball well downfield, but with no one there on the other end, and the Hokies have been really good at just creating space downfield, and that's why they're finding all these through ball and cross opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a throw-in for Ohio State on their half of the field. Hokies are going to quickly clear that one, though, and push it back into their half, but the two defenders for the Buckeyes going to sit right there and pass it back to Kolininski. He's going to be content to just pass this up to that far side of the field. Definitely have seen the midfields for both of these teams play a huge role in really how their offenses work. As the second half of this first half has really just become a midfield game, just sort of bouncing it back and forth, and not having a lot of chances here for either side, really. So these Hokies here on that far side with the throw-in. Bouncing it back and forth here, and the Hokies are going to land with it, pushing it across that mid-line, up on that far side of the field. And Allie Lewis, they're going to cross it down to try and get it down to Emily Gray, and Emma Palkowski is going to take this one and then push it back up to the far side of the field. Try to get an interception here. Ohio State, they are going to get it. They're going to push it back towards midfield. It's a 3-on-4 here, and they're going to just turn around and reset, trying to make a play happen on this near side of the field down to Emma Sears again on trying to push it up. We've seen her make a lot of moves on this near side of the field, try to create those cross opportunities, but this Hokie defense has done an excellent job of just keeping her right in that midfield area.
But on that possession right there, I think that's a huge possession for the Buckeyes. For the first time all game, they really looked like they understood what they were doing. They found the other man on the far side of the field, flipped fields, and got it to the, when they say one more, they're saying they need to get to that last guy. And they got it to that last guy and had an opportunity to get it upfield. They just couldn't follow through. So that's a huge opportunity for the Buckeyes right there. Just looking a little more cohesive on defense now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're starting to see some more pressure be applied by this Hokie offense again, trying to make it hard for them to get it out of midfield, as we see Emma Palkowski again get in the middle of it. A big freshman addition for this Hokie team, as now the Buckeyes are going to push it up into their attacking third right on this edge of the 18-yard box, looking for a cross here. Cross is going to come in, but no one's there, and quickly pouncing on it, Aaliyah Skinner. And they're going to have to reset there again.
Still, take it with a grain of salt if you're the Buckeyes. It's a huge opportunity right there, and they got upfield. All on their own power, too. No luck, no deflections. They got the ball upfield. They found that extra guy and took some open space down to the corner flag. That's an excellent job by the Buckeyes to kind of make a recovery effort right there.
So there's a foul call that looks to be most likely on this Hokie team. As we say, a Buckeye player fall down there. So going to be a foul on the Hokies. Hasn't been a super physical game. We're used to seeing this Hokie offense play pretty physical. That is going to be their first yellow card, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's been aggressive both ways. And you can honestly kind of flip a coin on it, which team's been more aggressive. I think that's kind of what you expect, right? I mean, kind of young squads both ways, but long-tenured coaches who I'm sure are very good at hyping up their young athletes, and they both looked fired up and ready to go. I mean, it's the first round of the NCAA tournament. Not many players get to say they played in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely saw a lot of energy out of this Hokie team early on. Sort of settled down a little bit in the second part of the second half. Buckeyes looking a little bit more cohesive here. They're in their half of the field, but playing sharp defense, the Hokies. They're going to put it into this far corner, but it's going to be too strong. So, again, looking more cohesive, as you've said, this Ohio team, but still haven't been able to put much together yet in the way of true opportunities. So Leah Skinner will be taking this one for the Hokies. This being the 15th NCAA appearance for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Overall, 13-13-2 in this NCAA tournament. Opportunity here for the Hokies, pushing it into their attacking half. Anu Vornin on this near side of the field, in the box here, looking for a cross. The pass is going to come in right in front of the box, but the Buckeyes right there. They are going to clear back out, and it is going to get cleared out again, but Hokies still in their half of the field. Saw the Buckeyes have a little bit of issues with this early on. Right there, Emily Gray tried to go for it, but quickly intercepted by the Buckeyes. Buckeyes trying to clear it back out and create an opportunity on that far side of the field. They are pushing it into their attacking third. It's a 2-on-3 here on that far side. A cross coming in and a shot, really, as that one went straight into Aaliyah Skinner, a long shot. And they're going to have to reset, as that was a decent opportunity to just turn that chance around on the Hokies.
Yeah, that's about, we're talking 25 yards out, and she's just booting that one. I like the aggression, though. And the Buckeyes, that was an excellent possession on defense and offense right there. On defense, they have their backs to the wall, and the defensive line still beat all of their guys to the box. They marked their man, and then they were able to turn around and beat their guys to the box. That's just hustle. That's effort right there. That's what you train a Buckeye to do if you're an Ohio State Buckeye. So that was an excellent job right there. And now, as we speak, a fight for the ball in midfield, now a free kick from about 50 out.
So we're just under 7 minutes here as this one's going to cross into the box, but a nice grab there for Aaliyah Skinner to just knock that opportunity away, and they're going to try and flip this one around, pushing it up towards midfield. Going to be a quick movement here for the Hokies in Victoria Hogan. The Hokies are going to try and flip this again. It's going to be Emma Palkowski again in the box. That was Nicole Kozlova on that, and she fell, and these Hokies fans wanted a foul, but did not get that foul in the box, so it's going to be Kolaninsky with it here.
Yeah, the fans wanted kind of a different call on that play. How about the environment here at Thompson Field? We have the men's team sitting right in front of us right now, and obviously the fans are well into this. You have your long-tenured, I don't know which frat it is, but I know a frat sends a lot of their guys out there to cheer on the women's squad. You have to love that tradition, and Thompson Field is just such a great environment for soccer tonight, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, and a great environment for this first round. It's exactly what you wanted, especially for this Hokie team. They wanted to use that energy to really push themselves across, and so far it's worked out with that early goal. Had a ton of opportunities, and I'm sure they'll be looking for more of that in that second half.
Yeah, it's been back and forth later on in this first half, but again, the Hokies just looked sharper to start it off.
Yeah, absolutely. But as you said, this Ohio State team looks to be getting a little bit better at communicating and creating some more real opportunities. But they're going to have to figure out something here in this halftime to figure out what it is exactly that this Hokie team is doing in midfield that's given them so many issues.
Absolutely, and there's so many ways you can go about it if you're Coach Hawk. The Hokies are just so sharp at midfield. That play looked offsides, and it is. So Ohio State the other way. But as I was saying, just so sharp at midfield. And again, I think it comes down to the poise on the ball. Emily Gray and company are just so sharp on the ball. They feel calm. They don't look pressured. And the Buckeyes look like the more aggressive squad. So you don't really see that dynamic so often. But again, I think it's just stuff that you can't really teach. It's just poise on the ball, and the Hokies have had plenty of it so far.
There's more chances here for Ohio State, pushing it into their half of the field, trying to create a little bit of space around this defense, but Emily Gray is going to pounce on this one and is going to look strong here, pushing it up. She's going to have Tori Powell or Allie Lewis there on this near side of the field. Going to look for a pass. The pass coming in, but still in the box and cleared away, as that was actually Sophie Maltese for the Hokies there, trying to get that one in and pass it back to Emily Gray. Had a decent opportunity there. The first real opportunity we've seen for either team in a couple minutes or so, about 10 minutes. But these Hokies still trying to apply some pressure in their half of the field. On this near side of the field, it's going to be that's Emma Palkowski trying to cross it into the box. But that Mr. Man in Allie George is going to be a kick for Kolinsky,
This is an underrated aspect of Kolinsky's game. Her service is fantastic. I've watched a bit of her tape, and next to none in the Big Ten. Can really boot it upfield. And even small plays like this, she goes out to her winger. Can just pinpoint the man she wants to hit to, right on the chest.
This Buckeyes looking strong here in midfield, trying to push it through. An aggressive play there for the freshman Emma Palkowski, going to flip the ball around to these Hokies, and she missed her man on that pass, but that looked to be promising on that aggressive play.
Yeah, and that would have been a great play to kind of end off the half on. We have 3 minutes to go, and if they got that ball up to the flag and even got the cross opportunity on it, that's a great way to capitalize. Whether or not you finish with the goal, it's a great way to capitalize, to kind of show the Buckeyes that, yeah, they're feeling more comfortable now, but this midfield is still working.
Absolutely. And that freshman Emma Palkowski, we've said, she actually is tied for lead and assist for this Hokie team, so definitely been a big part in that midfield. Hokies here, chance in their attacking third. They're going to push it up to that far side of the field, but again missing the final connecting pass, and is going to go out for a throw-in. So we're going to reset here in this defending third for the Buckeyes. Going to be a throw-in for them, but they're going to have to deal with several Hokie players trying to fight for the ball for a decent opportunity here. They are going to clear it out, and a good job for them as they're going to push it down to this near side of the field to Emma Sears, trying to create some opportunity back and forth between Sydney Jones and Emma Sears, and they're going to kick it back to their defenders in their defensive third. Some pressure here for Allie George, but they're going to clear it back to midfield. Nice little back foot pass, but Hokies are going to intercept this one. Just on that far side of the field still, and they're going to kick it out past the touchline. So it's going to be a throw-in in the Buckeyes attacking third, right on the edge of that corner 18-yard box here for the Buckeyes. Looking strong there, and as I say that, it gets kicked away by the Hokies as they look to be setting up a play, but quickly cleared out by this Virginia Tech defense.
And how about the communication between Kalinsky and Caitlin Foley right there? Kalinsky just saying, give me the ball. You don't need to have, the forward right on top of you. Just less pressure if you give the ball to Kalinsky, and Kalinsky's asking for it. Small stuff like that is so helpful on defense.
Vornan here with the throw-in for the Hokies right at midfield. We are just at 1 minute remaining, so a big first half for these Hokies. Lots of offense at the beginning of that half. Nets them a goal, 1-0 here early on. Stifled a little bit by this Buckeye defense as they figured it out, and Buckeyes trying to apply a little bit of last-minute pressure here. Some aggression by Sears still. She falls but doesn't get the foul she wanted. Still again some pressure by the Buckeyes. Going to be a chance here for a cross off the foot of Vornan, but it goes right to Aaliyah Skinner, so roughly about 25 seconds remaining now. And that looked to be the last opportunity. Try to get a final opportunity there, but with just under 20 seconds now, this header looks to be the last one. Well, a chance here in their attacking third, but a offsides called here, and we're just under 10 seconds. So that's going to be it for the remaining part of this first half. Definitely a very, very exciting first half.
Yeah, the crowd's involved. I mean, you hear them cheering. A 1-0 start to this matchup, and that's huge. The Hokies looking to advance to the second round for the first time in a couple of years now. They're looking awfully excited at this 1-0 start.
Yeah, absolutely. Big first half here. Big first half of this NCAA tournament. Your summary so far, 1-0 as we've said. Ohio State with 3 shots. Virginia Tech with 12. The saves, 8 already by Kolininski for Ohio State to 2 for Aaliyah Skinner. You got corner kicks at 3-2 Virginia Tech, and then fouls 5 for Virginia Tech, 2 for Ohio State. Of course, the 1 yellow card each for them. And then, of course, the goal for Emily Gray at 11:29 as that one went into the back of the net. What have you seen so far in this first half? What do you think they're going to have to do as we move into the second half on both sides? Let's start with Chugger's Virginia Tech team.
Right. I mean, you got to split this game up into chunks. And if you look at it from the Hokie side of things, they definitely took that first half of this half, per se. That second half, they slowed down. And I really don't think it was much of their fault as it was Hawk kind of figuring out the Hokie team for the Buckeyes. So that dynamic is going to be important coming into this, first half, the second half per se. You got to take it, minute by minute. So I think it really just started with the offense. Obviously, tons and tons of pressure, and Emily Gray is kind of a pass-first player. That's what you get with center attack mids, and that's what she wanted to do, and eventually she got the shot she wanted to. So it was just fantastic finishing ability, and really just being a pass-first team. They got the ball upfield, finding the open man, and that open man was Emily Gray.
Yeah, and you already sort of touched on it here, but on that other side for Coach Hawk and Ohio State Buckeyes, what do you think they're going to need to do to sort of bounce back here, or maybe what do they need to talk about to fix some of the issues that they had early on?
Well, finding that open man, like I said, Emily Gray's been that open man for the Hokies. Who's going to be that dynamic for the Buckeyes? They've struggled to find anyone downfield so far. You have plenty of forwards who can do it. Kayla Fisher has some speed on her. 17 games played, 6 goals, 6 assists. She's the assist leader. She's up the field for a reason. Why can't you find her? She's the girl you got to be looking for right now if you're the Buckeyes.
Make sure you stay with us here on 3304 Sports for the second half of this first round of the NCAA Tournament here at Thompson Field. Kyle Marchak will have the play-by-play call on that first half, and make sure you stay here on 3304 Sports.
Welcome back to 3304 Sports. My name is Kyle Marchak alongside Brian Kearney. Brian, a great start for this NCAA Round 1 matchup between the Buckeyes and, of course, your hometown team here in Blacksburg, the Virginia Tech Hokies. The women's team looking sharp, a 1-0 start.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all Hokies there for about the first 15, 20 minutes. We had 10 shots for the Hokies to none for the Buckeyes, and it was just all about the Hokies, but the Buckeyes were able to get it back together a little bit. Were able to firm up that midfield and eventually kind of slow down this Hokie team, so they only were able to get 2 more shots after that. But nonetheless, it was pretty much all Hokies that first half.
And how about that senior New Hampshire native when we're speaking of the Buckeyes? Bailey Kolinsky has looked absolutely stellar in goal tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just been all over the place and is the reason the Buckeyes are even still in this game. That first 15 minutes, it could have been at least 3-0 Hokies, so she is the main reason this Buckeye team is still in it, and I'm sure we'll continue to see that the rest of this game.
On the other side, Aaliyah Skinner's had a handful of fantastic saves, too. She's looked brilliant, but it's really the offense that kind of stood out. Obviously, a 1-0 start for the Hokies as the crowd roars. The Hokies take the field, ready to get going. Aaliyah Skinner on the other side of the pitch now. That offense, Emily Gray looked sharp in the first half. Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. She was just in the mix of everything. She was in the midfield making plays and creating opportunities for the likes of Nicole Kozlova and Tori Powell, but then she would also get into the mix of it in the box and really create those opportunities, had a couple shots on goal, so, and then including that eventual goal that is the difference right now. So she's really been the key to this Hokie team, as she usually is.
Emily Gray, the key to this Hokie team, and we're ready for kickoff here in the second half. 45 minutes on the board. The midfielders ready. We have a couple midfielders to our near side lining up. Kozlova rushes downfield, but they'll start it off with number 24, Emily Carter, to boot it back to her defense. On top of the ball, Victoria Haugen boots it upfield. And already a fight for it at midfield, Brian. The midfield has been absolute chaos in this matchup so far as the Buckeyes circle it through their defense.
Yeah, I really think that's been the difference in this game when that Buckeye midfield didn't have it together. It was all Hokies, and then they were able to get it together, and we really saw that the last part of that first half, it was just bouncing back and forth between the midfield. Didn't see a whole lot of opportunities either way, so I think that's really going to be the key to the rest of this second half.
Meanwhile, a quick start for the Buckeyes, looking sharper already at midfield as Sydney Jones got it and booted upfield, and back out of bounds they go, so the Buckeyes threw it back in. Now Emily McCarter fighting for it at midfield for the Hokies. Back upfield. Kayla Fisher on the cross. Corner opportunity on the cross, off the post and in. The Buckeyes with a quick start. A deflection off the post. Tough to find the jumble of numbers, but they still get the finishing opportunity. So the Buckeyes tied up only minutes into the second half.
Yeah, that's a crazy turnaround there already. Really just seemed like a chance came out of nothing. They were just sort of moseying their way into the box. Didn't look to be in too much of a hurry, and I'm not sure what happened there with Aaliyah Skinner. Maybe thought that one was going to go away, but that one went in, and it looked like she maybe wanted a foul call as she got hit, but nonetheless, it's a goal.
So 43:59 left on the board, a minute and 1 second into this matchup on the second side of it, and already the Buckeyes tie it up here in the second half. Meanwhile, the boot straight upfield from the Hokies trying to get action going. They'll give it right to the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes through their defense, and they're looking like they're sharper already, just trying to get the ball upfield and already applying a pressure.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely going to be applying some more pressure, and I'm sure this Hokie team is going to be all over. Moving up towards the front of that goal. Really want to bounce back quickly here. Don't want Ohio State to sort of settle in, so they want to probably get that goal back quick.
Hokies now to the far corner flag. They got the ball upfield quick. Emily Gray on it. Behind the back touch. The Buckeyes will steal it back. Some contact on the play. No flag raised. The ball will roll out of bounds. A throw in for the Buckeyes deep in their own territory. Quickly up to Sydney Jones. Sydney Jones back out to her defender. Boots it upfield. Handled well by the Hokies. Still a battle for it in the defensive third of the Buckeyes. Some pinball at midfield, all the way up to the defense. Emily McCarter fighting for it at midfield. Turning around now, it's number 16, Erin Garleton on top of the ball. A through ball, and that one will roll all the way to Bailey Kalinsky, ready to give it back to her offense. She elects to roll it back out, and I like that kind of pressure right there, Brian Kearney. Just throwing that ball right out to her defense, trying to get it upfield quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to get it back out quick and get your offense going.
Through ball opportunity right side, and a great tackle from the Buckeyes. Sydney Jones sliding on that one. Fighting for it was number 12 for the Hokies, Tori Powell. That one will roll out of bounds. They actually call it a corner kick. No throw in right there. So off the end line and a huge corner kick opportunity. A lot of girls in the box for the Hokies.
Good chance on a set piece. We've seen this be dangerous for the Hokies all year long.
Powell on the kick. Curving back post. Header deflected up in the air off the top of the net and out. A nearly close opportunity right there for the Hokies to take that lead. That one off the hands of the keeper, and another opportunity looks like to the opposite corner now. So the Hokies with another corner opportunity.
Yeah, nice idea right there to put it right in the back part of the net, but right in front. And those Hokies weren't quite able to knock it in, but another chance on the set piece.
4 Hokies in the box. Emily Gray on the corner kick. Back post run. Tori Powell on top of it. Header opportunity deflected right into the hands of Bailey Kalinsky. So Kalinsky gets away with one for the Buckeyes defense. She'll boot it quickly upfield.
Yeah, here's going to be hearing a lot of her name. I imagine this half as this Hokie offense has been strong, but she has really been stronger so far. So we'll have to see what they have to do to get past this goalkeeper, because she's really been something for this Buckeye team.
So on the far touchline, Sydney Jones to her midfielder. Emily McCarter fighting for it for the Hokies. The Buckeyes have some space. Tried to get the through ball, nearly threaded the needle. Instead, it was deflected. Would have been an offsides call either way. The Hokies to their far touchline now. Some contact at midfield. The Buckeyes still fighting for it. Emily Gray upfield. She has some space. That's Tori Powell upfield. And they're going to call her offsides. They cannot believe it. So a free kick into the defensive third of the Buckeyes. She looked like she was on, Brian.
Yeah, she did. She looked like she waited the right amount of time. Was really just her and nobody else, but Emily Gray there really surprised Ohio State, but nonetheless.
That was Nicole Kozlova, on that play. The 5'5" Canadian playing for the Ukrainian national team. Some multi-citizenship on the pitch tonight. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes sharing much more possession so far in the second half, Brian. Contact up into the attacking third. Buckeyes still struggling to handle it. That one will roll out of play.
Yeah,
throw in for the Buckeyes.
Bit of a flip script here so far, as the beginning of that first half was all Hokies, and so far it's really been all about the Buckeyes and their offense. So maybe surprising the Hokies here with a little bit more energy than they had that first half, but they're going to have to figure out something here. Only about 5 minutes in, though.
Meanwhile, Leah Skinner elects to have the ball to her feet, and she'll boot it quickly upfield. Now rolling down that right sideline and keeping it inbounds. It's number 20 for the Hokies, Victoria Haugen, rolling down the right touchline. She has some space, looking for a cross opportunity. Quick touch near the 6, and it'll roll just out of bounds. So a goal kick for the Buckeyes, but a huge opportunity wasted away by Victoria Haugen.
Yeah, good little defense there for Ohio State. These fans thought she had tripped her up, but really the ball had just gotten away and eventually crossed the line. So
yeah, they wanted to call for some contact there. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes rushing up to the near touchline. Izzy Rodriguez played on the US U20 team, but she gives it up at midfield. Emily Gray trying to find a man up into the attacking third. It deflects back out. Some space for Kozlova. Kozlova, far side of the 18, passes it off. Deflection to the box. Off the cross opportunity, nearly deflected in, but the Buckeyes get a foot on it near the end line.
Yeah, missed opportunity there for, I believe that was Emma Palkowski with the missed foot there as that one came in, and Ohio State got away with one.
The Buckeyes will win possession back from the far touchline, and they switch fields. Now back out to midfield. Izzy Rodriguez on it. Some contact at midfield. Far touchline. Taking their space. Trying to go to the right corner flag. Some great pressure from the defensive third of the Hokies, and they'll win possession back. The crowd roars in agreement. 37 minutes left in the clock, and we're all tied up 1-1. Meanwhile, McCarter stealing possession for the Hokies. A boot upfield. Kozlova's got some space. The Ukrainian streaking downfield, right touchline, behind the back touch, deflection, back out to the top of the 18. The Buckeyes still have it. Rodriguez gets a foot on it, boots it upfield. Hokies still back possession. Top of the 18. And now again the ball pops back out, and the Buckeyes will steal possession once more. Trying to chip it cross field, another wasted away opportunity from the Buckeyes. They give it right back to the feet of the Hokies. Far touchline, I believe that's Emily Gray on the ball. Emily Gray, top of the 18, and it gets booted back out. Pinball action right in the top of the defensive third for the Buckeyes. The defense of the Buckeyes booted all the way back out to the sweeper keeper, Aaliyah Skinner. She is a big boot. She'll go all the way back out to the defensive third of the Buckeyes. Slide tackle. Hokies have it. Rushing towards the 18, about 30 out. Opportunity, far touchline. Flag is not waved. Emily Gray is on. Cross opportunity, back of the 6. Headed back out to the top of the 18. Rodriguez with a foot on it. Cheeky sombrero right there to get it back out to midfield. 2-on-3 opportunity for the Buckeyes. Rushing out to the right side. She has some space. No man in the box. She's going to have to make a play herself. Stops, backs out to the top of the 18. Looking for a shot. Right side. Deflection in the box, and it'll roll just out of bounds. Aaliyah Skinner tries to keep it in, and it looks like the flag is waved, so a corner kick opportunity for the Buckeyes, rushing quickly upfield. Some pressure on display already, Brian.
Yeah, and it looked like Aaliyah Skinner thought she had grabbed that one before it went out. A little bit of frustration here maybe for the Hokies, but excellent opportunity here on a set piece and this corner kick for the Buckeyes.
So 35 minutes, 50 seconds strikes the clock here in Blacksburg, Virginia. Aaliyah Skinner has plenty of pressure here in the second half. We're all tied up at 1. The Buckeyes with a huge corner kick opportunity. Can they keep the momentum going? They elect to go short with it. And a 1-2 back out to the far touchline. A better angle on the cross. Header attempt. Handled well by the Hokies. They get a foot on it near the top of the 18 now. Izzy Rodriguez still fighting for it for the Buckeyes. Deflection back out to the far touchline. Hokies have it. Boot upfield. Kozlova has some space. The defender rushing in quickly. Can she beat her? To the far side of the 18. It's her against the defense. And finally the Buckeyes get a foot on it. They'll boot it out of bounds. And it looks like it will remain Hokie possession. Could have touched the foot on the way out. Instead, the Hokies have a throw in right in line with the 18. They like to go quick with the throw in, trying to get a turnaround corner. Or cross, excuse me. McCarter on the cross. Deflection back out to the top of the 18. Buckeyes handling it well, and again, the pressure looking much more fantastic in this second half, Brian. Quick boot off the deflection. McCarter handles it well, and it'll roll out of play. Buckeyes remain possession.
Yeah, you talked about it, that pressure, and we talked about it at the end of the first half. They needed to flip that around. They needed to be what the Buckeyes were doing. They needed to have more energy and really apply the pressure that we had seen from the Hokies that entire first half, and it seems like that is what they came out here to do at this beginning of the second half.
Peyton McNamara on the throw-in. A little too much mustard on that throw-in. It gets booted right back out to number 12 of the Hokies, Chloe DeLizer. DeLizer switches fields. Looks like Kozlova's on the ball. She gives it right back to the Buckeyes defense. Spin around attempt. No call on the play. Now they blow the whistle, so a free kick from just past midfield for the Buckeyes. What do you think? They're going to try and go down to a touchline or boot it straight into the heart of the attacking third?
For what we've seen from them, I would think they're going to go right into the heart of that attacking third. That seems to be what they're trying to do, trying to get it through the midfield, and so that would kind of stay in line with that strategy here.
On the free kick, all the way up just outside of the 18 for the Hokies. Hokies handle it well on the far touchline, but it pops back out. Some more pinball action. The Buckeyes with it. Buckeyes going head full of steam, to the 18. Still some pinball action right in front of the 18, and now the Hokies poke it back out to the far touchline. They have some space, booting it upfield. They have a man down the far touchline. It's a 1-on-3, advantageous opportunity for the Hokies. Some footwork on display, going near to the end line. Defense handling it well, but they get some space. Huge opportunity for the Hokies. Deflection and keeping it inbounds as Bailey Kalinsky getting away with another one right there.
Yeah, impressive footwork there on that far side of the field. And she tried to beat that defender, but was unable to, and the Hokies missing a decent opportunity there.
And it looks like it was Nicole Kozlova switching fields right there, going all the way to the far touchline this time to make a play. Just couldn't capitalize on the opportunity. Still great footwork on display, though. Super cheeky, to play of footwork right there. Just getting super shifty on the ball right there.
Yeah, it's that Ukraine national training there. I'm sure she's learned some stuff over there. She missed a couple of games, the last few games actually, and is back in time for this NCAA tournament.
Getting the chant from the crowd here. 32 minutes strikes the clock here in Blacksburg, Virginia. We're all tied up from a quick start from the Buckeyes here in the second half. Quick boot up field into the attacking third for the Hokies. Headed off the head of a defender from the Buckeyes. Hokies maintain possession about 20 yards out. Emily Gray has some space. Shot attempt to the right side, and Bailey Kalinsky with another save. She's having the game of her life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a decent opportunity there for the Hokies. They're starting to apply a little bit more pressure. It had been all Ohio State there at the beginning, but seeing a little bit more through balls through the midfield for the Hokies. So they're going to need some more of that if they want to get some better chances on net.
At midfield, the Buckeyes still trying to maintain possession. Bodies flying all over the place, Brian.
Yeah, a lot of aggressive play here on both sides with these Hokies. They're just sliding all over the place, trying to keep the ball in midfield, and we saw that in that first half, and they're having a little bit more trouble here, so I'm sure they're going to turn up the aggression, try and keep the ball on their half of the field.
So just a far spread of bodies on the pitch so far for the Hokies. Meanwhile, on top of the ball, Victoria Haugen. Buckeyes will steal at midfield and then back out. Emily Gray will boot it upfield quickly. Tori Powell chasing down the ball near the end line. Chip shot cross. Nobody on the other end. They're going to try and keep it in bounds. Racing for it is McCarter. She keeps it in and past the defender, and then it'll roll out of bounds. So a tough effort on too much mustard on that cross opportunity from Tori Powell, and Emily McCarter couldn't find the other end of it.
Yeah, good run there on that near side of the field, but trying to find the Hokies on the far side of the field for that last touch, but wasn't quite able to. We have seen a little bit of that for this Hokie team. A couple last touches that they needed they weren't quite able to get there.
Bailey Kalinsky, the keeper for the Buckeyes, elects to play short. Buckeyes kind of squeezing themselves in the near touchline. Going to their left. Izzy Rodriguez tries to boot it upfield right into the feet of a Hokie defender. Now Emily Gray at midfield, trying to find a man downfield. Again, that pass-first mentality, but she puts it right into the hands of Bailey Kalinsky.
Yeah, a couple missed chances so far for the Hokies, trying to find people on those passes into the box, but haven't been too successful as of yet.
Some more action at midfield, and the flag is shown. Yellow card. The Hokies looking too aggressive, and that was number 14 for the Hokies, Allie Lewis, getting her first card of the night.
Yeah, Hokie fans did not agree with that call whatsoever, but
yeah, it's kind of ticky-tack right there. Just got a foot on the defender on a slide tackle opportunity. So 29-27 strikes the clock here in Blacksburg, and still a 1-1 matchup. Again, the Buckeyes started red hot here in the second half, and it just looked like it was a pass straight into the feet of a Buckeye midfielder, and it was just an unlucky touch. Meanwhile, on the free kick from midfield, booted straight into the heart of the defensive third for the Hokies and rolls right back out of play. Quick action from Haugen, throwing it back in for the Hokies. And at midfield for the Hokies, stepping on the pitch now, is Carly Johnson. 11 games played, only 1 game started for the Hokies so far.
It's worth mentioning on this Hokie team, 6 players have actually played in this tournament before.
Meanwhile, the Buckeyes with some pace right towards the 18, but again, this Hokie defense, just a Hokie stone brick wall. They steal it right back. Now to the far touchline. McCarter. She has Emily Gray open to her left side. Racing down to the far touchline. Only one man in the box waiting for her defenders to catch up. Shot opportunity deflected well by the Buckeyes. Back out to the top of the 18. McCarter, nifty shot, right side. Kalinsky nearly got a hand on it, but it rolls just outside of the post.
Yeah, good opportunity there. Some good footwork to clear some space, and she had a shot on, but just missed wide. So definitely the right idea there for the Hokies, but unable to execute.
Emily McCarter has just been on top of the ball this second half. They could have used more of that the first half, but clearly the Buckeyes just look awfully sharper in this first half, or the second half, excuse me, so to really no avail. Booted back out to the wing back of the Hokies. Cycling through their defense. They elect not to switch fields, trying to boot it right into the heart of the attacking third. Buckeyes have it. Rodriguez turns around, gets it upfield. 2 defenders on her. Hokies steal it back. Right back on it. Contact on the play. No call. McCarter off the deflection, and finally a whistle is blown, and it goes the Hokies' advantage.
Yeah, you see the fight there, and McCarter was lying on the ground, but had the ball bounce back to her, and she was able to kick it away and then eventually got that foul call. So definitely showing the fight of this Hokie team.
And again, Aaliyah Skinner going all the way up to about the 40-yard line, so about 10 out from the half line. She'll boot it right upfield, straight onto the 18. Second ball won by McCarter. Stolen away from the Buckeyes. They'll boot it upfield. And finally, a whistle on the play, kind of a ticky-tack foul, and the Hokie fans not in agreement here in Blacksburg. So Bailey Kalinsky on the free kick, just outside her own 18. She elects to stay on this touch line right into the head of a Hokie defender. The second ball won by the Buckeyes. Rodriguez out to the left side. With some space, it was Kayla Fisher, but it's booted out of play. Now on top of the ball, Sydney Browning. That is Kayla Fisher. On the throw-in, Sydney Jones. Right to the top of the 18, Hokie defender right on top of it. And a free ball opportunity on the through ball and a whistle on the play. You hear the disagreements in the crowd already, Brian. Whistles blown all over the place, the crowd stomping their feet, and it looks like it's going to be a free kick from about 40 out into the attacking third.
Yeah, there was an excellent through ball opportunity there for the Hokies, and a foot got in there and tripped her up. So the yellow card definitely warranted, and the Hokies are going to have a chance here to set something up.
On the free kick from practically right on the midfield line is Allie Lewis. In the mix of that play, Carly Johnson stepping on the pitch tonight. Only 11 games played before this matchup, so her 12th game played and her first time in the NCAA playoffs. Free ball headed right into the hands of Bailey Kalinsky, but she had pressure collapsing on her. A whistle on the play, and a Buckeye is down just outside of the 18. Can't catch a number, but you hate to see an athlete go down. So action will finally slow. That's really the only momentum killer you'll have here, as the clock will stop at 25:45, a 1-1 matchup here in Blacksburg. While we take this break, Brian, just a back-and-forth matchup, and the Buckeyes with a head full of steam coming into the second half. They got that quick goal, and kind of like the first half, the Hokies went straight into it and, within minutes had their first goal. Same thing here in the second half for the Buckeyes. What do you think could get this momentum back going for either team?
I think it's going to be figuring out that midfield here. Both teams have sort of stepped up their defense in midfield, and so it's going to be how do they get those through balls and work through midfield, and that's really going to be the difference. We saw that at the beginning of the first. In the first half, it was just about who could control the midfield better, and so far, when the Buckeyes had more control at the beginning of that second half, we saw them have more success. So the key here is going to be just who can control that midfield and who can win those tough battles in the midfield to create those opportunities, and that's going to make the difference.
Meanwhile, on the drop ball, Kalinsky will just pick it up herself. Trying to pressure on that kick was Emily McCarter, and it looked like it helped because it rolls right out of play, and the Hokies will have the throw in right near midfield. Checking into the ball is Emily Gray. She's calling for it. Instead, it's a long throw in right into the head of a Buckeye. Buckeyes have possession. Headed towards the attacking third, and the Hokies will steal it. Backing out is the right back looking for possession. Instead, she goes the other way. Back out to midfield, and just some questionable play calls, I guess you could say, for the Hokies. Just struggling to find that extra man.
Yeah, they didn't have that trouble early on, so that's definitely been the difference here.
Through ball opportunity. Bailey Kalinsky will pick it up, but not without some pressure from McCarter. Or Emma Pelkowski, excuse me. Quickly upfield. Rodriguez trying to find an open man down that near touch line. And right into the hands of Aaliyah Skinner. But Brittany Duncan chasing down that ball quickly for the Buckeyes. Switching fields to the far touch line for the Hokies. Back to their CDM. And wide open on the far, or the near touch line, excuse me, is Victoria Haugen. Haugen with some space. Now Emily Gray. Near touch line, looking for Haugen. Instead boots it to midfield, and the Buckeyes will pick it up. Deflection back out. Emily Gray is dangerous on the ball. The Buckeyes going to want to close quickly. Pass first mentality, as I mentioned, and a deflection right near the 18. Opportunity for the Hokies. Shot off the crossbar. No deflection on the play. Kalinsky covered it, but nearly a game-grabbing opportunity for the Hokies right there, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an excellent opportunity for them, and they had a chance there. That was a nice deflection on being aggressive on defense, but then they just, in a nice little pass back to, I believe that was Tori Powell, to try and make that shot, but it was just a little bit too strong.
And how about this crowd coming alive here with 23.5 to go here in the second half? We could surely go into sudden death, but we still have 20 minutes left of action here in the second half. And, again, the entire season on the line here, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure neither one of these teams wants to go to that, so I'm sure they want to get a goal here and now. But if it comes down to it, that is what this playoff soccer is all about. It's about fun and exciting. So we've definitely been treated to that today, and we still have 20 minutes left, so still plenty of time for one of these teams to put something together.
So the sun's only been set for about an hour and a half now, and as the Hokies cycle the ball through their defense for about the 20th time tonight, it has gotten awfully cold here at the pitch in Thompson Field. Looking shifty on it is Tori Powell to the far touchline. Trying to keep it in bounds, and then a boot to the cross. Ooh, a high boot. Deflection, and it's in! A huge opportunity, and the Hokies capitalize. Pinball action, and the Hokies grab the lead late in the second half.
That was an excellent goal for the Hokies there. That was Victoria Haugen was free on the near side, and she got a nice little chance there to cross it in. Missed a header for Tori Powell, but she was able to knock it down and then pass back, and they got the goal into the bottom of the net. So an excellent opportunity there for the Hokies, and they finally capitalized.
Brilliant stuff. The flags fly, the shirts fly, and some painted chests jumping up and down here in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Yeah, these fans are excited about that goal, and they're going to try and cheer this team on to finish this one out as we see the shirtless guys in the front of these stands running back and forth with that VT flag. And they're going to be pumped here in Blacksburg for these last 20 minutes.
So action quickly back going. The Buckeyes wanted to get the ball quick. 22 minutes left on the board, and the Hokies grab a much-needed lead. They're really looking to advance to that second round of the playoffs. The crowd coming alive. The Buckeyes with some quick pressure, trying to capitalize. Far touchline. Izzy Rodriguez on it. She'll keep it in bounds. Cross opportunity right into Aaliyah Skinner's hands. No, it goes over her head. The Hokies will handle possession now, and quickly some action. The Buckeyes looking to capitalize.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. You don't want to give the team a chance to settle in with that lead, and you want to catch them while they're off guard and happy with that goal, and that's exactly what they're doing here.
Shot opportunity outside the box, and Aaliyah Skinner will handle it just fine. That was number 9, Izzy Rodriguez, getting quickly upfield and trying to boot that one. Or excuse me, that was Kayla Fisher.
Yeah, decent opportunity there, but it was more of a turnaround and shot. Didn't seem to be too set up, so it wasn't too hard for Aaliyah Skinner, and we've seen her make some nice saves tonight.
So Kayla Fisher hasn't gotten the ball too much as the ball's booted out to the far side of the pitch. Call on the play. Hokies will have a free kick from about 50 yards out. Aaliyah Skinner talking to her defense, trying to get some bodies downfield. Skinner's got a huge boot. 21 minutes on the clock. 2-1 lead for the Hokies. Skinner boots it right onto the 18, going head on. Deflection. Bailey Kalinsky will have to collapse on it awfully quickly without some pressure. That was Kozlova closing on it very quickly. Boot out to midfield. McCarter gets a boot on it. The second ball fought for by Emily Gray. Deflection to the box. Looking like it might roll out of bounds. Trying to keep it in play is a Hokie. And reaching for it was McCarter, but it'll roll out of bounds. A goal kick opportunity for Bailey Kalinsky and company.
And a good chance here now for Coach Chugger to mix it up a little bit, bringing in someone new and subbing out Tori Powell, who's been one of the big keys to this offense. So maybe looking for some fresh legs or mixing it up or just securing defense. Either way, last 20 minutes, excellent opportunity here for some players to get some experience.
Sophie Maltese checking in, as you said. One of the only Pennsylvania natives on the pitch tonight. Cross opportunity, deflected well by the Buckeyes. Back out to the far touchline. And that's how quick this game moves as 20 minutes strikes the clock. The Hokies, within a matter of seconds, nearly collapsed on the pressure once more.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure they would love an extra goal to sort of cement this one.
Maltese with a quick shot. McCarter getting a deflection on the boot back out from the Buckeyes. Now at midfield, Allie Lewis boots it out to the far touchline. Buckeyes steal it. They have some space. To the near touchline. Trying to get to the 18. Defending closely, the Hokies are. They have a secondary man behind it. Now all the way to the corner flag, tucked in the corner now. Kayla Fisher wants the ball for the Buckeyes. Trying to force it too much, and that one will roll out of play. The Hokies boot it back out. So the Buckeyes will have possession just at the edge of the attacking third. Peyton McNamara on the throw-in. Tries to find Kayla Votra. Votra off the ball, deflection, Hokies back out of play. Buckeyes with a throw-in well into the attacking third. Izzy Rodriguez on the throw-in. Aaliyah Skinner having to make a turnaround play. Thought that ball was going to carry short of the box. Instead, it curls back out to her far post. She'll rise up and make the catch.
Yeah, I like that idea by the Buckeyes. They were having a little trouble. They were just trying to set something up for a cross, and so they decided to make a nice little turnaround chip into the net area. So definitely the right idea, but a nice play there by Skinner.
Meanwhile, Kozlova pressures on the opposite side of the field as the ball quickly went into the hands of Bailey Kalinsky. Deflection back out to midfield as Aaliyah Skinner boots it back out there. And finally, McCarter will set the ball down in possession for the Hokies. Instead, she boots it right into the feet of another Buckeye defender. Kayla Fisher on the ball. Fisher's got some speed. Body's flying. Fisher goes down. Buckeye still searching for it. Now to the far touchline. 17.5 to go. A 2-1 lead for the Hokies. They really just have to maintain possession at this point.
Yeah, it becomes defense and just hold on to the ball time here for the next 17 minutes or so. Of course, they're going to still apply some pressure, try and get an extra goal, but definitely can play the defensive card here over Ohio State, who's got to make something happen here late.
Far touchline throw in, right in line with the 18 near the attacking third for the Hokies. All eyes on Maltese. Maltese back out to the far touchline. Cross opportunity, back post, no man there. That one will skip out of play. A lot of energy dying on that ball. It nearly stayed in. That would have been quite the effort to get possession for that ball. Instead, it's a Buckeye throw-in well into their defensive third, right in line with the 18. On the near touchline here.
Yeah, definitely the right idea there. We've seen that a couple times. It's definitely an offensive strategy for these Hokies. They run down on those far side and have just had a little bit of trouble finding that last touch in the box.
Meanwhile, off the throw-in, Kayla Fisher gets a header on it. And now they're switching fields. The Buckeyes finally with some space here. Booting it quickly upfield. One man there. It's Kayla Fisher. Shot off the volley, and Aaliyah Skinner will handle it just fine. Putting some pressure on display. Still a 2-1 lead for the Hokies.
Yeah, right idea there on the shot, trying to catch Aaliyah Skinner off guard because it was a 1-on-3 there for the Buckeyes. So trying to make a shot off there and surprise Aaliyah Skinner, but she made the nice grab.
Meanwhile, the Hokies have a through ball upfield, and the flag is raised. I was thinking it for a second, but Maltese was just offsides there.
Yeah, just a bit, but these Hokies are starting to get that mojo back a little bit on these offensive runs here. So Ohio State's got to settle that down and try and turn the tables.
And speaking of mojo, you can't forget the main storyline here is 15.5 to go with a 2-1 lead for the Hokies. Coach Hawk for the Buckeyes, 25-year tenure here for Ohio State, 16 years on the side of Coach Chugger for the Hokies. It's just so much experience on both sides of the pitch for the Hokies and the Buckeyes. Meanwhile, Kayla Fisher has an opportunity. Fighting for it with a defender. Deflection back out. Cross, far side of the 18. And booted back out off the volley for the Hokies. Maintaining possession is Izzy Rodriguez. Back out to midfield. Deflection for the Hokies. Through ball opportunity. Handled well by the defense of the Buckeyes. Rodriguez back out. Far touchline now for the Buckeyes. Triangular action in the far end. Trying to get it to the corner flag. Not enough pace in the pass back out to the flag, and it'll roll out of play. Deflection off a Hokie foot. Buckeyes maintain possession.
Yeah, and as you said, Hawk's really been the key to what's turned this Ohio State program around the last 25 years, and they made the NCAA Tournament 15 years now, and all under her. So it's really been a big part of this team, and she's even won 3 times the Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Meanwhile, a quick throw-in, header out to the middle of the box, and off the volley, just not a really, well-planned shot. Well wide of the post. So Aaliyah Skinner, has been awfully poised in the box tonight. But Bailey Kalinsky's performance has just been unbelievable. I mean, if she didn't have a, non-cohesive defensive wall in front of her, it could be definitely a shutout so far. Meanwhile, Emily McCarter boots it upfield on the through ball attempt. Izzy Rodriguez handles it well. Buckeyes to midfield. Taking their space. Through ball attempt. Kayla Fisher on it. Got a touch. Body's flying. Misplayed chip shot to midfield. Buckeyes still have possession. To the corner flag and too much pace to her own touch. It'll roll out of play. Goal kick for the Hokies.
Yeah, and as you were saying, this feels all too familiar for Kalinsky, as she had 9 saves in that Big Ten tournament game where they actually took the loss there, and she was actually named all Big Ten team just for that one game, that one performance. Here she already has 9 saves as well, so feeling all too familiar so far, so I'm sure she's hoping that her offense will get her going.
Free ball at midfield, a lot of contact. No call on the play. That was Sophie Maltese soaking up a lot of contact right there. Hokies steal it back at midfield. Emily Gray's open to her left sideline. Through ball, and she'll have possession. Far touchline. Cutting into the 18. Shot opportunity, and Bailey Kalinsky will handle it just fine. Just couldn't find the right angle. Defenders collapsed on her quickly, and Bailey Kalinsky was right on top of it.
Yeah, couldn't get the angle she wanted, so didn't end up being quite the best shot in the world, but excellent chance there to work around a couple of those defenders.
Meanwhile, a boot upfield, a through ball to Kayla Fisher for the Buckeyes. Hokie defender collapses, contact on the play, and they'll throw the flag. So a penalty on the play and practically a goal kick for Aaliyah Skinner here. 12 minutes to go here in the second half. In case you missed it, fantastic second goal for the Hokies in the second half, but it opened up with the Buckeyes. They were sharp. Within 61 seconds, they were back on the board. Meanwhile, a huge goal kick, about 60 yards out to midfield. The Hokies trying to win that second ball, and they've struggled with that all night.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all Buckeyes there for that first bit of this half, but Hokies have turned it around and put the momentum back in their favor.
Deflection back out to Izzy Rodriguez, and she'll punch it down her own touchline. And now she'll have a throw-in right near the 18. Tori Powell stepping onto the pitch for the Hokies, and Emma Sears stepping onto the pitch, the Dublin, Ohio native for the Buckeyes. Kayla Fisher fighting for it. 2 defenders on her. She nearly created some space near that end line. Instead, the Hokies will boot it upfield. A touch and back upfield. Tori Powell, slide tackle. A 50-50 ball to midfield, and it'll be booted back out to the Buckeye defender, Bailey Kalinsky will boot it back upfield. But how about that effort from number 12 for the Hokies, Tori Powell?
Yeah, very aggressive, making those opportunities for the Hokies, and that's what we've seen from that front three all night. And Tori Powell's been one of the big reasons the Hokies are up right now.
Once again, Izzy Rodriguez boots it right into the foot of a defender and quickly upfield. Tori Powell, another quick touch. She's sharp, making a difference quickly as she gets onto the pitch. There's 10.5 to go here in the second half. Kayla Fisher on the ball. Slide tackle, contact on the play. They call the play on. It'll roll out of play. Looks like it'll be Buckeyes ball. Interesting play on call right there. If I'm the Buckeyes, I'd imagine I'd want a free kick right there from about 30 out. It looks like a Hokie defender will drop.
Yeah, it's Victoria Haugen went down there after the play. Looked to be grabbing her ankle a little bit, but stretching out, so maybe cramping up here as we're about 10 minutes remaining. So probably just cramped up a little bit, as often happens as we get near the end of these games.
And it's the end of these games that can really make a difference statistically for both squads. When we speak about statistics for the Buckeyes, the only team perhaps in the entire NCAA tournament with a negative plus-minus differential for goals.
Yeah, coming into this one, it was flat. It was even. They had scored 27, they'd given up 27, and now they're down with just a -1 here in this one. So, and it's different compared to the Hokies, who had a plus 18 coming into this one. So definitely difference in offense for both of these teams.
Meanwhile, ball roll out of play. Buckeyes maintain possession about 20 yards out. Well into their attacking third. Checking into the ball is Kayla Fisher. Instead, she wants to go down the touchline. Fisher gets it anyways. Header to her forward. The Hokies will maintain possession, boot it up to the midfield. It's that fight for the ball at midfield that they've struggled with so far, but the Hokies keep possession so far. Tori Powell trying to fight for it. Rodriguez will get a foot on it. She'll boot it upfield. No Buckeye to get on it. Deflection back out the other way to midfield. Now at midfield, the Buckeyes will finally maintain possession. Far touchline. Buckeyes trying to streak towards that flag. It'll roll out a play off a Hokie foot. A throw in from about 20 yards out. Cross opportunity. Streaking towards the 18. Curling ball. Kayla Fisher on top of it. Instead, it's a Hokie defender collapsing to it. It'll pop back out, and who else but Tori Powell to be on top of it. Powell looking to her right side. She has Kozlova open. She'll give it to her. Kozlova has some space. No, it's Emily McCarter. McCarter, near touchline. Trying to get shifty on the ball. She'll go right near the flag, and pushing her off the ball is Izzy Rodriguez. Rodriguez boots it upfield to a Buckeye. Kind of a flick on over her shoulder and right into the feet of a Hokie defender. Emily Gray, cross opportunity. Buckeyes boot it back out. Fighting for it in the far touchline for the Hokies is number 26, Emma Pelkowski. Pelkowski elects to switch fields and goes back through her defense. A free ball just given up. Couldn't get her head up. And the free ball, 50-50, slide tackle opportunity from the Hokies. They win it. They have possession near touchline. Trying to get shifty on it is number 23 for the Hokies, Kate Bonchak. Instead, the Buckeyes will steal possession at midfield. Kayla Fisher has it, and she just misses the ball. Kind of forgot something right there, and it rolls out of play. And how about that Hokie reaction from this crowd here in Blacksburg?
Yeah, they're loving it here. They're just under 8 minutes to go, and I'm sure they can start to taste it, but they have some work to do against this Ohio State team. Nothing is granted yet by any means.
And a rhythmic outroar from this Hokie crowd. Thompson Field lit up. Western Virginia mountains in the distance, but we're all focused here on this NCAA Round 1 matchup. Emily McCarter looking for a girl downfield. It's Tori Powell. Tori Powell chasing down this ball, skipping. She boots it off a Buckeye foot and out of play, so a throw in well into their attacking third, Brian. This is a huge opportunity for the Hokies to put this game away with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, the Hokies and Coach Chugger would love to put this away with the goal right here, so down in there attacking third, a decent chance to set something up and try and put it in the back of the net.
On the throw-in, Marchak. Off the foot, cross opportunity. Buckeye will punch it back out. And again, a secondary deflection back into the box. Now from the far touchline, Hokies have possession. Trying to collapse the defense from the 6. Shot, and it's a goal. The Hokies put it away. 6.5 to go, and they want that ticket to the second round, Brian.
Absolutely. Right there, an excellent just punch into the back of the net. A nice cross, and Tori Powell putting that one away in the back of the net. And this one seems just a tad bit out of reach with only 6 minutes left, down by 2. Ohio State's going to have quite a bit of work to do.
The Hokies looking towards that second round already. Textbook stuff, getting it to the 6, and they punch it back out. And who else but Tori Powell to collapse on that ball. One touch into the back of the net. You can't do much about that if you're Bailey Kalinsky.
Yeah, Tori Powell's been in the mix of it all game long, and an excellent just pinball moment there between the two passes. Really didn't give Kalinsky anything to work with to make any sort of save, and an excellent put away. And the winner of this game, keep in mind, is only the first round, so looking towards that second round, it's going to be Arkansas versus Northwestern State. The winner of that plays the winner of this match. Of course, Arkansas, number 7 in the country right now.
So on the assist right there was Emma Steigerwald. Meanwhile, a shot from distance. The Buckeyes try and get a goal back quickly, and I think they're beginning to see their fate.
Yeah, I'm sure they're starting to feel it, but you can't give up yet. You know, there is still 6 minutes left, and crazier things have happened, so if they keep the fight on, they might have an opportunity, but this one does feel a bit out of reach here at home for these Hokies to just kind of put this one away, but they do have some work to do.
Aaliyah Skinner slips on her goal kick, and that ball will roll out of play only about 20 yards out, so kind of a stroke of luck for the Buckeyes. Imagine they get a quick goal here. All of a sudden, the script is flipped, and the Buckeyes would have some momentum. Meanwhile, Kayla Fisher chasing down a ball at the end line. It'll roll out of play, and she kind of gave up on that ball. Kind of surprised she'd give up on a ball at this point. Anything you can get is what you got to take.
Yeah, you know, I had a similar thought there. You think she might try to make some sort of slide to poke that one back into the box. Definitely could have made something happen there, but you know, it's late in this, probably feeling pretty tired, so it's starting to feel her fate a little bit. Maybe the cause of something like that.
Well, it looks like there was actually a flag on the play beforehand, so nonetheless a Hokie ball. Kayla Fisher, a senior from Kent, Ohio. Her fate kind of written up in the air. I think it was evident as a young, talented player she wanted to go to Ohio State. Now, attached to these losses for Ohio State, you have to remember all the seniors who worked 4 years for this squad. There's a flag whistled at midfield. So 5 minutes to go, and the Ohio State seniors beginning to see their fate. And you know that's the tough part of these losses. A huge win for the Hokies, looking to continue their careers and continue this run. And Coach Chugger's got to be happy about this. But again, on the other end, a lot of seniors for Ohio State going to be pretty distraught after this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you work all season long and all year long to make this tournament. So to lose in the first round in one game, of course, is going to hurt. But, you know, they were able to make their way here, and they've worked very hard over the past 4 years for this Ohio State team, so nothing to hang your head about. Virginia Tech, a very good team, and so is Ohio State. So this was always going to be a toss-up, but you work your heart out all season long, and this is what you do the best you can.
So if this game is coming to a close here, the Buckeyes will finish their season at 9-9-2, which tells you just how incredibly competitive the Big Ten is. A team finishing at 9-9-2, and they still have that stroke of luck of entering the NCAA playoffs. So with 4 minutes, 15 seconds to go, still pinball at midfield, and the Buckeyes will finally win possession at the far touchline. They'll have a quick throw in.
Yeah, and looking towards that next round, as we said, Arkansas already up 1-0 over Northwestern and already have 6 shots. So feels similar to how this game started with the Hokies going up by 1 early. But
Buckeyes far touchline, streaking into the 6. They have space. Deflection off the foot of a Hokie defender. Emily Gray getting all the way downfield to make a play on that ball on defense. And I think that exemplifies Emily Gray's type of style of play.
Yeah, she's in the mix of everything, you know, up and down the field, no matter what it is, defense, midfield, or offense. She'll get in the mix of it and make something happen for this team. She's really that catalyst.
Catalyst is a good way to put it. Speaking of catalysts, on the defensive end of the field for the Hokies, Emily Pukowski stealing the ball out of midair, but it pops back out. A cross opportunity for the Buckeyes. Contact in the box. Looked like it was a Buckeye incriminating themselves on top of a Hokie defender, so it goes the other way. It could have been a PK opportunity, which would have been huge for the Buckeyes. With 3 minutes to go, they have a quick PK. I mean, they scored a ball with 61 seconds. Imagine they had 3 minutes after a PK opportunity. That could have been huge.
Yeah, absolutely. If they had that opportunity, it would have been big and a difference maker to maybe shift the momentum into their side, but nonetheless.
Meanwhile, Izzy Rodriguez down at midfield for the Buckeyes. Don't want to say they're chewing for time because perhaps they don't need it, but any moment they can get to replan. Either way, Rodriguez getting stretched out by her long-tenured teammate, Bailey Kalinsky, the senior New Hampshire native. A lot of Northeasterners here. Quite the representation throughout the map of the United States, all the way here in Blacksburg.
Absolutely, and especially with college soccer, you get this mix of international players too, as we have on the Hokie team, and several players on the Hokie team actually. It's something you see quite a bit on a lot of squads, so definitely an international experience for all of these players.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to love the college soccer experience, international talent all over the place. We had the men's team sitting right in front of us. Now about the men's team waiting for their selection show Monday. That's going to be an exciting selection show. A week after the women's selection show comes out, the men's team, who is ranked coming into the playoffs, got to be excited looking for their opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these soccer teams have played very, very well this year and have put themselves in prime position to make this tournament and then potentially do very well. The men's team was even ranked in the top 5 or so at one point during this year, so high hopes for them as they look forward to next week. But this Virginia Tech women's team also going to be looking towards next week and the next few weeks, hopefully, as they try and play their way through this tournament.
So 3:09 left in the clock as the clock stopped to Izzy Rodriguez's injury. She'll be walked off the field, and that's got to be a tough way to go out if this game is chalked up in the air. That'll be the last time she touches the pitch tonight, and perhaps for her Ohio State career, a senior from Canton, Michigan. A lot of Michigan talent on this Ohio State team, but that's definitely one of the punctuation marks for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a mix of those players up in the Midwest, and can't blame her for anything right there. We saw a Hokie player go down, too, with cramps is what it appeared to be for Rodriguez as they were stretching her out, so definitely these late into the game, you tend to see those sorts of injuries or things that take people out of games. And it is unfortunate for her, but, she's had a great career here at Ohio State, and hopefully they can get her back on the pitch here in the last 3 minutes or so if she's feeling a little bit better.
Meanwhile, Buckeyes will maintain possession. They actually have a through ball all the way upfield, and just outside of the 18, the Hokies' defense still looking like a Hokie stone brick wall here.
Yeah, they have, and that's been the key to this game so far has been that midfield and defense. Even when the offense started to look a little lackluster there in the middle of this game, the defense stayed up, and Aaliyah Skinner, and they were just the key to keeping these Hokies in it, and eventually the offense was able to catch up and put them up by 2.
Bodies flying at midfield, a quick free kick with 2:10 left in the clock for the Buckeyes, and now they're picking up the pace. Through ball upfield. Off the volley, Hokies defense will handle it just fine, but right into the foot of a defender. Buckeyes racing up to the far touchline. Cross opportunity off the foot and a corner opportunity for the Buckeyes. Not much pep to their step, though. You have to imagine this is one of the last goal-scoring opportunities they'll have of the season, and they're only jogging upfield.
Yeah, absolutely. But if they can you can think about it from their perspective here. If they can maybe try and sneak one in early, of course there is less than 2 minutes left, so not feeling too good. But if you can sneak something in, you might have an opportunity here with just a little bit of time.
Emma Sears, the woman to watch for the Buckeyes. Corner opportunity. Buckeyes will maintain possession, pops back out. Another corner. Off the head of a Buckeye and off the hands of Aaliyah Skinner. Contact in the box, and it goes to the Hokies' advantage. Unbelievable the ball couldn't find the back of the net, and that tells you just how fantastic Aaliyah Skinner's been tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, there's that foul called right as it looked to be a good chance for a second opportunity. It fell in front of her while she was on the ground, but excellent defense, as we've seen all night from both of these goalkeepers.
60 seconds left on the clock, and perhaps 60 seconds left in the careers of a lot of Ohio State seniors. And what a career they've had. In their final year, they find themselves in the playoffs despite a mediocre record. And what a performance they put up in this second half. Quickly, 61 seconds, and they put away a goal. Nonetheless, Kayla Fisher will give her last effort for the Ohio State Buckeyes as the crowd roars here in Blacksburg. The Hokies looking awfully excited moving into the second round of the NCAA playoffs.
Yeah, these fans definitely pumped up to cheer their team on, to move on to that second round, and it's big news for them, as I'm sure the Hokies going to be looking for more of this success, and Coach Chugger will be happy with this performance for these Hokies.
Tori Powell, she wants one last effort. 15 seconds left on the clock. Powell slowing down intentionally, and perhaps that's some sportsmanship on display as the ball rolls out of play. Likely the last possession for both squads. A defender goes down for the Hokies, but this game is chalked up in the air with 3.9 left in the clock. They'll have a player stoppage for an injury for the Hokies. And, man, this game is so close to finishing. But injuries are injuries, and there have been plenty of them tonight. An aggressive matchup between both squads, Brian.
Yeah, definitely an aggressive matchup and a great matchup between both of them. Both teams played very well and aggressive, and this score of 3-1 actually a little bit more wide open than how this game was played. So definitely seen good performances on both sides. Both can take good things from this as they finish, well, as Ohio State finishes their season and as Virginia Tech looks towards the next round.
I can't help but agree. So 3.9 seconds left in the clock. And, Brian, how about a look into that Arkansas Northwestern State matchup? Likely the next team that they could be looking at right now is Arkansas. 3-zip lead, 23 to go.
Yeah, Arkansas definitely, as we already said, that number 7 team in the country and already up 3-0 with 10 shots.
So perhaps Arkansas, the team to beat in the second round. But for now, the Hokies will celebrate. 0 strikes the clock. Black Jackets will rush out, and Blacksburg rejoices. A huge win, 3-1, and perhaps not indicative of the matchup we saw tonight because it was close early on, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. By no means is that really representative of what this game was, as it was back and forth. The Hokies taking that early lead, but it really just stalled there for a while until the second half. Right at the beginning of that second half, Ohio State just put one away, and then it was fight for the rest of the game, and then the Hokies were able to put two quick goals away at the end of this one to put it away and secure them a win to that second round.
So the trumpets will blare, and VT wins shown on the board here at Thompson Field. 0 on the clock, and it's a 3-1 win for the Hokies. Brian, what'd you see for the Buckeyes? They had quite the effort on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, so a lot of strong efforts from them on the offensive side. The defense, of course, we saw had some struggles, but in the midfield they were able to secure that. And really, it was all about their goalkeeper in Bailey Kalininski, as she was really the key to this team, kept them in it the entire time, even when Ohio State was having issues on the defensive side, and kept them in the fight. As this one, as we said, really was a lot closer than 3-1. So without her, it wouldn't have been the game that it was. So that was really the key for the backfield for this Ohio State team.
Bailey Kalinsky is senior from Derry, New Hampshire, and perhaps her last game in a Buckeye uniform. And what a way to go out. She couldn't get the win she wanted, but her and her defense put on quite the performance, especially her 10-plus saves. And just what a way to go out if you're a Buckeye. That's certainly a Buckeye performance right there from Kalinsky. On the other side, the Hokies offense. I mean, that's the story of the game. 3 goals tonight, 3 different girls shown out, but Emily Gray was kind of the producer, the catalyst of the offense, if you will.
Yeah, this has really been indicative of their entire season. It's really been a strong defense, but an even stronger offense that's really helped them with these wins, and it's really been all about Emily Gray the entire season. Of course, Tori Powell and Nicole Kozlova, you got to give them credit for what they've done this year, and everybody else on this team as well. Those are the 3 offensive players, and Emily Gray has been in the mix of it, and really, even when she's not scoring goals, is part of what helps get this Hokie team a goal. So it's really been a showing of what their season has been all about, and so I'm sure Coach Chugger is happy with that.
And speaking of Coach Chugger, he has to be happy with his performance, but Coach Hawk on the other side, 25 years experience, and what a way to go out in her 25th year. Quite the performance from the Buckeyes. OHIO roars out in the opposing side of the crowd here in Blacksburg, and still, happy fans get to leave. They saw their team compete. They saw their team show out. Defensively, offensively, they got the goal they wanted, but they just didn't walk away with the win. And back to the side of the Hokies, they had 19 votes for rankings last week, but couldn't crack it after this win. You have to imagine not only do they crack the second round of of the NCAA championships, but they might crack those rankings too. So Arkansas, perhaps the team to beat. Thank you guys for tuning in on 3304 Sports. Going on to the second round of the playoffs, the Hokies looking to make some history, searching for their first NCAA championship and program history. I'm Kyle Marchak alongside Brian Kearney. Thank you guys for tuning in here at Thompson Field.